Welcome back to the show. We are joined today by a good friend of ours.
Hello.
The lovely and amazing Ricardo.
Hey, everybody.
Ricardo,
Happy to be here.
can I see your last name?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Maybe. No.
No? Okay.
No. Not yet.
Ricardo's joining us today on our 420 episode, our big 420 bonanza. We are...
Woot woot.
Woot woot. We are smoking and toking and having a great time.
We are.
Thank you. I don't know why I'm thanking you. But,
Thank you guys for having me on here.
yeah, no, of course. Let's just jump into it.
Let's just jump into it.
What are you drinking?
Truly wild berry hard seltzer.
You drink...
Leftover from our 422 party.
Hell yeah.
Okay, period. Love that.
Do you have any other leftovers?
Oh,
Aside from frozen Doritos?
we got. You're so weird. Put it all in the freezer. We got seltzers. We got beers. What can I get for you?
I think I'm good for now.
Okay, work.
Do you hear my wonky wrist when I turn?
Oh my god, yeah, how does that work?
My wrist.
That's, oh my god.
It's a lot.
Hold on,
Stop.
It's a lot.
Oh my god, Andy, stop. That is foul.
It's not right. It's not right.
Oh my god.
It did not heal correctly. Man's broke his damn wrist.
I was
Yep.
like, oh my god, is something wrong? I was like, did I touch a button?
Have you ever broken a bone? I've literally
I've
never.
never broken a bone.
Never broken a bone in my life.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
It just doesn't sound like me.
It just. I mean, yeah, I was crazy back then, but like, no,
Just
I
not
wasn't
something
that
I can see
crazy.
myself doing.
I don't. It just.
personally.
It should have happened. It just simply never did. I managed to escape it. I don't know what it was.
My brother broke his arm in like kindergarten or something like that.
Oh my
I think.
god. Was
Yeah.
it for a cool reason?
I think you know, honestly, I don't remember. He might have fallen off like the monkey bars, maybe.
Aww.
Was that even my
good
brother?
time.
I could have totally just made that up.
It's a
I
child.
honestly can't even tell.
Nobody was there.
Someone's child.
You were
fell
drinking a 40 under the playground and something just happened. You just saw something.
off. Oh my gosh.
God bless. No, I mean, playground etiquette. Shit got crazy down there. I ain't never broken no bones, though. You broke your skateboarding, though, right?
I've had a couple injuries. So,
Couple boo-boos.
I don't think I've ever broken a bone from skateboarding. But my wrist did fall out of place, and I was too afraid to tell my parents that I was riding without pads or a helmet or anything.
Yeah.
So I kind of kept it to myself for a couple days. It started getting kind of yellow and purple, and I was like, okay, this is bad. And I went to my dad. I was like, hey, yeah, so I fell off skateboarding. He goes, is this recent? I'm like,
No.
yeah. He goes, like, how recent? I'm like, couple days. He goes, that's not recent. He took my wrist, kind of gave me a little. My dad's a chiropractor.
Yeah.
So he takes my wrist, kind of gave me a little whip, and my wrist popped back into place. And then a couple days, color came back. It felt better. But ever since
that's
then,
not how that works.
it's not how it works. And ever since then, my wrist will slide out of place.
No disrespect to your father.
No, not at all. But every now and then, my wrist will like kind of slip out of place, and she'll see me like, oh, hold on. I gotta like pop it back into place. And now whenever I move my wrist side to side,
Oh my god, stop.
it's just a thing.
Do not ever do
No,
that.
because that sound triggers my fight or flight immediately.
But like
Oh
I
my
forget it.
God.
So like even now when I was like switching the mic from like me to Sean,
Yeah,
I just felt
yeah,
I was like,
you
oh yeah,
just-
I
yeah.
forgot that's a thing.
No, I could like kind of. You can probably go back and hear it. Like you can hear the movement.
Yeah.
I just like at first I was like, oh, maybe it's just the mic, like just picking up movement in
No.
general. No, that's your wrist.
I did
Be
not
all
go to
that.
medical school, but that shit does not sound right.
It's not right. Yeah.
Bestie, oh no.
It's all good though. It doesn't affect me. If anything, I can get out of like working the cameras at work because they're like,
Yeah.
Andy, you can't zoom smoothly. I'm like, oh, I guess I can't. So
Yes.
I don't
When
do
the draft happens, you can just simply.
I
I
can't.
can't do it. I don't know.
Oh my god, I always think of the excuse that I'm gonna make up on the draft. Like,
Yeah, what's your out?
Flat-footed. Gay.
no, the answer's like really controversial.
OT, please.
But they did from the army, so like,
That could be your moment.
you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But this is like emergency situation. I would like.
Mhm.
I honest to God don't think I would ever even be selected to get drafted. I think if they showed up to my door and I opened the door, they would probably just be like, wrong house. Like, just leave.
We're so sorry to bother you.
Like, listen, I am not your ideal army boy. I'm 5'7", 192 pounds already.
And I'm ready to party.
And yeah, I'm here for an experience that does not involve.
Listen, if the
violence.
army needs meatballs, I'm there.
Yeah.
But I cannot show up with, I don't know, the A game that you were expecting. I can't do it.
I don't like, and I get like, if you're drafting for an army, you're obviously in a situation that's like dire, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But I still think, even in those circumstances, if someone were to just like really get a good look at me, like, I don't know, I would have to like, I can't. I would never.
I don't
would
know.
you actually do it? Like, if they like, what would you do if like the army like came to your door and was like, you need to join the army?
I'm an adult who cannot ride a bike. I can't. You're not gonna need me. I can't motor. I can't.
They draft women, don't they?
No, actually, that's
I
the
think they go
fucked up
men
thing
first.
is They don't.
Men go first, at least.
The girlies are good, which is, I don't know, not totally equal, but yeah, we all right. Good luck, y'all.
I should educate myself more on that kind of stuff.
I mean, hopefully you don't have to, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't want to, but I feel like it is a good thing to just,
The worst lottery in the entire world.
I know. Well, I remember when I signed up for, or not when I signed up, because I just recently turned 21.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
congratulations.
Best fucking 21st birthday ever in the entire world.
Oh my God, stop.
So
That
fun,
was-
though.
I would do
Party hard
anything
in
to go
Vegas.
back to that weekend.
That weekend
truly.
was a movie.
I've never like rallied. Like I think that was the first time I can properly say that I like rallied.
You did.
For sure.
You were blacked out in that Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
That was not you.
No.
Manny
That was
there.
Manny.
Manny
Yeah.
was there.
Manny the alter ego, yeah. No, but what I was saying, it was like when, you turn 21, you get a new ID. And when I got my ID, they asked me, they were like, do you want to like sign to do this thing where it's like you're eligible to be drafted?
Oh.
And I said no.
Yeah.
And then she was like, let me tell you why I think you should say yes.
No.
And so I was like,
No.
I guess let me hear you out. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but she was like, here, well, I think you should, because like, if it's like, she said there could be a case, like a scenario where like, if there isn't a situation where people are needing to be drafted and they tried to draft me, but I didn't like sign that form, I could get sued by like the US government or something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, something along those lines. She made it sound like they could like charge me, or like I would have to pay like a significant amount of money in order to like get out of that, I guess.
Bonkers.
I don't know the logistics about it, and I really can't tell you anymore because that's all the information I was getting, but she scared me enough to sign it. So.
Oh my God.
It worked.
No, I be
It
turning
worked,
bitches
yeah.
down left and right. If a motherfucker offers me a Target credit card, I'm immediately like, no, I can't.
I know, but it was like
I
it was the
don't.
BMV or the DM. Do you guys call them DMV or BMV?
The
We call them,
DMV.
Department of Motor Vehicles here.
You guys have.
We have Bureau of Motor Vehicles.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Indiana's crazy.
Indiana is so bizarre.
Indiana is crazy.
Yo, Indiana's
Indiana,
crazy.
yeah.
Yes, for every viewer who is not from Indiana, we need some spicy Indiana tea. What is the thing that you miss the most
About
Indiana?
Miss Indy.
Miss Indy.
Aside from like friends and stuff like that, but like,
Obviously.
Yeah.
what do you strictly miss about Indiana?
Like, I'm sure California's sleeping on something.
Yeah. I would probably say back roads, I think.
T. Highways only in this bitch.
Yeah, like there's not like even back roads here, it's through mountains. So it's like you're twisting and turning. I miss the simplicity of just driving in a straight line for like an entirety of a trip, I guess.
Incredible. Wait, is it like flat? It's not like.
Yeah, no, there is no mountain, nothing. Like
Fascinating.
there are hills. Like there are like, don't get me wrong, it's not just completely flat, but like it depends where you go. Like, but where I lived, it was purely cornfields, beans, so many. It was like they would rotate every other year. So 1 year it would be corn, the next year it would be beans.
That sounds kind of magical, though.
It is. It's cute.
That
It's very
sounds so cute.
I would confidently say that the corn is way more fun.
What
Because-
makes the corn more fun?
What makes the corn more fun? Oh my God,
it more
everything
color?
makes it. Like, No, it's just like when the beans grow, they're not as tall. So
Okay.
they don't get as like tall as the corn does. Like when the corn grows, like you can like walk through it. You know, like you get to like run through the cornfield. It was very like it's a very disrespectful thing though.
Yes.
Let me say, like you are only permitted to go into cornfields that like are being used for either like mazes or like it's very like frowned upon to go into like someone's actual.
No, because people are trying to make a living.
Because like that's like people's real life. That's their income. But
don't be fucking with my produce, bruh. I'm trying to sell this shit. No, I must say I'm transfixed with the idea of a cornfield purely because like I've seen so many movies where like these hot young teens will skip class and then like go smoke in the cornfield and party in the cornfield, and I feel like that's a necessary part of like American youth that I just simply did not have access to. No, so I'm fascinated by it.
I do think people should go to Indiana just to like see it. I would love to have like you guys like my friends, like my close friends here. I would love to just like, especially the ones who grew up in California. I would kill for you guys to just observe the like ambiance of like rural communities or like
I just want to be around like rural countrysides, and I know this sounds like an awful generalization, but like people that grew up in rural areas. You know, I grew up in a city. I grew up in LA. I want to be around people that didn't grow up around that. I want to grow up around people that have different values or interests than I do, and just like people like yourself who partied in cornfields, whereas I partied in homes or warehouses and stuff.
Oh yeah, well that's the other thing. Like, I mean, so I guess like my experience wasn't entirely like that. Like my experience in Indiana was a lot more reserved than I guess most of the kids around me. But yeah, for me, it definitely like, I mean, for other people, yeah, 1,000% partying in cornfields, going crazy, like ragers in literally like the middle of nowhere. Like you would just pull up to a house in the middle of, like, I don't even know, like just a rural community, like where houses are literally like a mile apart from each other each.
Yeah, like motherfuckers had acres under their belt.
Yeah,
that's
like
crazy.
It's crazy. Like that's where most people like the country kids in high school were like the popular kids because they had so much land and so much property. And so those would be the people who would like host majority of the parties. Me being a Hispanic in a white dominant like for
when I was inhaling,
this. I know. I'm sorry guys.
That was so good.
For context,
please
let me just say I feel like I can put this out there. The name of my high school, I'm not even kidding you, brace yourselves, was called Whiteland.
What was your mascot, bro?
We were the Whiteland Warriors, but it was like
no, the White Warriors.
Pretty much Whiteland Warriors. Yeah, so White Land, literally, that's the name of the school that I attended. I'm not proud of it.
I mean, it's not your fault. You
no,
did not
for
decide
sure.
on the name.
But the thing is that frustrates me. Ugh, Mom, if you're listening. We lived in it was so weird. We lived in a city called Greenwood, but we went to Whiteland schools.
Oh.
So I think I could have gone to like Greenwood schools. But no, I got stuck with all the racists. So.
Damn it. You got on the wrong side of the train tracks.
I really did. Really did.
Dang, bro.
Oh my God. In Indiana, there's trains everywhere. You would hear trains like at night when you're sleeping. That's nice though. It's very like, it's not loud. You just hear like a choo-choo.
That is so peaceful though. No, I had a couple friends who like grew up on the other side of town by the train tracks, and going over to their houses to sleep, it was like hella fucking peaceful because it would just be a nice little train noise in the background at night. And you know what else you can do? You can get pennies and go put the pennies on the train tracks. And when the train comes by, you get squished pennies.
You do.
It's the best thing in the entire fucking world.
I've never done that, but I feel like as someone who grew up in Indiana, I probably...
Oh my God, no, it's a whole moment. It's so fun. That was one of my favorite parts of being near the trains, is just leaving change around.
Oh my God.
I used to know a kid who, back in high school, his name was Brandon. Very suitable name. He, very big drug dealer in the community. Everybody knew him. This kid, he ended up getting in some kind of serious trouble and was on the run. And I'm not kidding when I say it was hopping on trains, traveling across the country. And
what?
Yeah, and I was good friends with him. And, you know, I didn't see him for years while he was doing this. So then by the time I'm a senior in high school, I was a TA for his younger brother's math class. And then came by to go hang out with his brother. And I was like, holy fuck, I haven't seen you in years. You look different. What's going on? So I tell my teacher, like, yo, can I step out for a minute? She goes, yeah, of course. I go outside and I talk to him.
Wait, so this is after all this happened?
After all this has happened, he tells me the story about where he's been. This kid was hopping on trains all across the U.S. He met up with some people that were homeless, living out of a van, but they were in a band. They needed a bassist. This kid's never played bass a day in his life. They hired him immediately.
Incredible.
Stop.
He's suddenly just like chilling with the band that we had somewhere to stay. They're splitting up the little bit of money they made just to get food for the day. He slowly developed the nickname Bones because he had these steel-toed Doc Martens he would wear. And, you know, sleeping in the streets at night, you know, you get jumped and shit like that. And he would say, your shoes are your number one priority. So he would duct tape his shoes to his ankles, make sure no one would take them. And he would wake up to people trying to take his shoes, and he would just kick the shit out of them. He's banned in, I believe, multiple states.
What?
Yeah, he was telling me that, like...
Baby?
Pardon?
And this is a Valley baby?
Yes, this is a Valley baby.
Wow.
He's been arrested in multiple states and told, like, just you can't be hopping on trains and, like, you know, just doing that kind of shit. So finally he came back to kind of, like, cool it down, and he, like, talked to his family, like, hey, guys, I'm back. Shit's not good in other states. I need to cool it down, like, calm down over here. So he's just been with his family for a couple weeks at that time. And I just think it's pretty sweet that he just returned back to his school to pick up his brother and just, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and...
Well, that's nice, but it's, like, that's still, like, that's just a crazy, like...
It was, like, 3 years of intensity. And, like, he's showing me, like, all these scars that he has. His knuckles are all busted up. He's bigger and bulkier, but also, like, he looks famished and just malnourished. Yeah, this kid was crazy. Shout out... I gotta reach out to you, man. It's been fucking years.
Shout out to...
I ran into this
Yeah, I
kid
hope
fucking...
you're doing well.
I ran into this kid fucking years later at some, like, jazz party. And, like, he just looked... Yeah, at some jazz party.
Is he still around? Do you know?
I haven't seen him in, like, maybe 3 years or so.
Okay.
But I ran into him at the party, and he just looks at me and goes, I got some advice on docs. I'm like, oh, I'm fucking sure you do. And I don't know. Sweet kid. I think he's clean from, like, everything now. But I don't know. Good lad. He was, like, the OG, like, yo, I need weed. He was my guy. He was always giving it to me for free because, like, he was selling pretty intense stuff, and I never cared for that. I was like, hey, can I just have some weed? He's like, yeah, you can have fucking weed, and just gave it to me for free when I was a teenager.
Okay,
Yeah.
you little piss baby. You can have some weed.
Literally, yeah.
Dang. I was not running with that crowd in high school. That's crazy. I did not play like
What was
that.
your high school experience like? I don't think I've ever asked, really.
I don't know. Mine, I grew up, like, supremely suburban. Like, the most...
Okay, same, though.
Yeah.
Kind of same, yeah.
I grew up in the Silicon Valley, and it's definitely kind of weird going back now just because the area's obviously exploded since
Yeah.
I grew up there. It's tech startup central. The fucking Apple spaceship is down the street from my parents' house. It's mad weird. But, like, growing up, it seemed very goddamn regular. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely a city. The population was like 100,000 people, but it was a suburban Bay Area city. And I went to a public high school, and nothing too crazy happened. I mean, like, we had a couple weirdos. We had
Well, yeah, that's everywhere, yeah.
everybody had a couple weirdos, and it was definitely just like it was a very regular public school experience. Like, I don't know, there were clubs, kids got into some trouble. Other kids were
Yeah.
mostly just like lame shut-ins like me. I was a very good kid growing up. I didn't sneak out. I didn't drink. I didn't do anything.
I'd like to say that I was also pretty tame.
Yeah. When was the first time you were like, okay, consciously I'm waking up today and I'm going to fuck around. I'm going to fuck around. How old were you? What was that like?
I probably, like, I don't know, because when you're like a teenager, it's very like, and even still, I'm only 21, so like I'm
You're a
freshly
baby.
out of it. Yeah, like I don't have too much experience out of this, but like you're just so hormonal, especially when you're younger, that like I don't even think I can like pinpoint a day or like, I don't know. For me, it was like, because I had moments, but I was never consistent. Like, I smoked weed for the very first time when I was 15. And it was at a
Wow.
friend's house, yeah. And so, oh my God, we are celebrating 420.
Yes,
I forgot. Yeah,
it's
happy
423. We had a little 420 party the
Yeah.
other day. We smoked a fat blunt the day before that, and then the day before that it was 420. So we've basically been smoking weed for like 4 days straight. Coming to you live, peace and love. I hope everybody else has enjoyed the holidays. It's a very important time to be alive and to be celebrating. But yes, guest of the fucking century, Ricardo. In our apartment.
Hello.
Ricardo straight from the mean streets of Indiana, spilling us the fucking tea.
Yeah, giving you that inside scoop on Greenwood, Indiana.
No, I love it. I love it. No, I feel quite basic because I feel like my growing up experience was kind of limited because I truly didn't push the boundaries that much until I got to college.
And that was the thing. That's what I was going to say is like, I smoked weed for the first time when I was 15. I barely I got high for sure. Like I was like, especially because I'd been sober like that entire time. I don't even think I had probably like tried drinks, but I'd never been drunk by that point either. So like I didn't know what it was like to be intoxicated in like really any manner. But then like, I guess when I was like 17, I want to say, was when like the curiosity kind of like came back. Cause like I never we got drug tested in high school.
You what?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, did this happen to you guys?
Wait, no. What the fuck's going on?
If you're an athlete at my school, you're susceptible to random drug testing. But if they had reason to believe you had drugs, or because we had like random drug dogs on campus, you were allowed to be drug tested. Yeah, we had a big issue at my school with drugs. It was a big thing. Yeah.
See, ours was like we didn't have issues with drugs. It was like they just took it to like a really extreme level. Like my car got searched in high school, and like when my car got searched, I had probably had it for no more than a month.
That's incredible.
Because I got my car like right before my senior year, and they searched it. Like a dog like smelled something on my car, and like I was terrified because like I had like a jewel in high school. Like that was really like the worst it would get for me. It was like so I had dangerous. A jewel.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, oh my God, there's probably like an empty pot in there or something.
Hey.
I was like, maybe that's what they smelled, because they said like they told us, they were like, hey, we're having dogs on campus run through the parking lots.
Crazy.
Yeah, they would get like 2 or 3 dogs, have them run like all through the parking lot, smell every single car. And whatever ones, they would like write them down, and they would call each student down. And so I got taken down, golf carted to my car, gave them my keys. I had to take off my backpack. I had to give them all my stuff. I was not allowed to go anywhere near my car while they were searching it. Like, yeah, I had to stay on the golf cart. They searched my car. They didn't find anything. The part that I was annoyed about was they didn't find anything, but they trashed my car.
No!
Like, I mean, listen, I don't keep up with my car too much, especially in high school, like there were clothes and stuff, but like they left things open, like left my glove compartment open, like my middle console, like things just thrown out all over the place, and just like left it.
Fucking animals.
I know. I was like, that is so like, what is this? I'm like a kid, and like by this point, like I said, like I never really did anything bad. Like I wasn't like a abnormally like bad kid or anything, but yeah, it was so ridiculous. And I got drug tested like 2 times.
That's bonkers.
I think just out of random.
Whoa.
Yeah, like it just one day came into class and was like, hey, you're coming in for a drug test today. Yeah.
You've told me you're a disobedient person though.
I am disobedient with authoritative figures.
Okay.
I was never disobedient with my parents because I never really had to be. I was very spoiled growing up, which I think is why I'm like the way that I am, because I was the youngest, and youngest kids always get 10 times more leverage than their older siblings.
I cannot relate.
Oh my God, really?
No, I was the older.
Oh,
but
okay,
I love
got
hearing
it.
the tea, though. I love it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's just what I've been told. That's what I experienced. But I was disobedient in like the obvious basic ways. If my parents wanted me to clean my room, I would make it a point not to.
Work.
And if they want, like, if I knew someone wanted me to do something, I wanted to do the complete opposite, to like, honestly, to like spite. But like, there was no reason why. It was like someone telling me to do something when I was younger was like a serious issue.
You're like, no.
Yeah, like, I don't know why I was just like, no, don't tell me what to do. I hate that. Like, it just bugged me. Like, I don't, and even still, it bothers me, but now I'm, like, old enough to the point where I, like, you know, it's just
At
life.
some point, you
Like,
just gotta deal with it.
Yeah, you gotta roll with the punches, obviously, but yeah, so I was disobedient more in the context of, like, authoritative figures. Like, teachers, I would have problems with, like, my parents and I would argue, like, if they wanted me to do something. Like, I just was never good about, like, I never wanted to feel like I was being pushed around. And, like, anytime anyone wanted me to do anything, I just felt like I was being pushed around. So, like, I don't know. That's how I was more, like, disobedient. But, like, as far as, like, I never, like, snuck out. I never smoked or drank consistently until I was, like, 18. I, like... Yeah, I never dabbled into, like, the risque stuff. Like, I always kept, like, there was a fine line, you know? I feel like with every kid, you just, I don't know how to describe it. I'm already 420'd out.
423.
No, I get it, though. Like, I wouldn't say I was disobedient. Probably spoiled a little bit. You know, I did have to work for what I wanted, but I also did get what I wanted.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Same, yes. Yeah,
I had to, like, kind of earn it in some way. I never just kind of got what I never got a brand new iPhone, a brand new cell phone.
Yeah.
But I still had a cell phone.
Yeah.
I got an Xbox years after they came out, things like that, you know, because I had to, like, pay for it or something. But I think because of that, I did learn this self-worth, or this feeling of, like, I'm my own person.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, hey, fuck you guys. I could do what I want.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, I rarely snuck out, maybe once or twice.
Same.
But it was
Literally.
more or less like I would kind of just, like, lie about where I was in order to go to other places. If I want to go to, like, a concert, I'd say, oh, I'm going to a friend's house.
If
and
we're considering that sneaking out, then I've snuck out. Like, I don't know. But, like, when I think of sneaking out, I think of, like, literally, like, you are leaving your house, your parents are asleep.
Yeah.
Like, they do not know you are gone. Like, they think you're asleep in your bed.
You crawled out of the window and you were very quiet.
Been there.
Done that.
Yeah. Like,
I had a back door.
But only twice.
Yeah.
Same. I also had a back door. Yeah.
I had a back door in my bedroom to the backyard. My parents put an alarm
In your
on
room?
in my room. My parents put an alarm on that shit to make sure I never snuck out. They were surprised. They're like, this door is never to be opened. I'm like, what if like during the day I just want to go outside or something? They're like, we will know if the door opens. It will make a beep. It notifies their phones and, like, all this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So, like, it was never ever used.
It was that taboo door.
Taboo boy.
Taboo boy.
I've never been to Ufujabber.
I've never been to Ufujabber.
So, Sean,
What?
I don't think I know the very first time you smoked weed.
Oh God, because it's simply not that cool of a story. I was very late to the party. I was disgustingly late to the weed party in life. The first time I ever smoked weed, I was 19, I think. And it was after a set that I was working on for a couple weeks at my film school, and it was a rap party. So I had consumed liquor at that point as a young person, so I brought, like, a little something to drink, but people there were smoking weed.
Yeah.
And for the first time I managed to not be, like, fucking violently awkward enough so that people were, like, offering me their weed.
Oh God.
So I smoked a little bit of weed, and at that point I was so drunk that it just simply gave me the spins, and I had to, in this backyard, lay down on the grass and just look up at the stars and hope for fucking mercy because I was struggling. But it was a fun time. I walked my happy ass home, and the next day I picked my best friend in the entire world up, and we went to motherfucking Disneyland.
Who's your best friend in the entire world?
Annalise from
Shout out Annalise. Was she smoking weed at the time too?
She was not smoking weed at that point. She was very, very curious my experience, and I said I simply just laid down on the ground. It was not that for the first, like, honestly, hand over my heart, the first 3, 4, 5 times I smoked weed, did not get high. did not get high at all. Thought it was stupid
I was
as
about
fuck.
to ask.
Yeah.
I was about to ask that. Yeah.
It took me a couple goes at it for me to actually be like, oh, wow, I really want to eat chips right now and I'm loving life. No, I didn't get it. I did not get it. I just kind of got dizzy.
Same.
I was like, this is dumb.
Well, that was really like the only. Because after the first time I smoked, it was bud.
Okay.
And then every time after that, for like a fat while, I only did like carts.
Oh, shit, dog.
But carts, like, I don't know. I don't think carts in Indiana are any close to where probably what they were here.
Oh,
You know what I
really?
mean? Like, carts, like, were new. That was, like, a new thing. When I was, like, 17, like, I didn't know. Like, no one was using, like, no one had dab pens until, like, that wave was started for us in high school, like, probably my junior year. Like, I was probably 16 or 17, yeah.
That's so crazy because I remember being in like high school.
Both just
All the mics.
No, I think that's the only like really like notable thing about the age differences. Like I remember being able to buy cigarettes and I remember being in college when like wax took off. But like that was
Yeah.
like, hey, fucking sophomore year, junior year of high school,
Yeah.
kicking it. What's good?
But I feel like California is so different because we had just left high school when they had passed the law where you have to be 21 to get lighters or cigarettes in California.
Same. Yeah.
So we were. I don't even think we were grandfathered in because I remember trying to buy like a lighter or something and they wouldn't let me
Yes, I
I
had.
got a pack on my 18th birthday.
in California.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I think at the time we were allowed.
Yeah, well, even when I turned 18 in Indiana, it was still the age was 18 until I turned about. Like I think it was probably 19 or 20. Probably 19. It was like a year later. Yeah, and so people did get grandfathered in though. I do remember for Indiana, it was like the first 6 months. Like if you were born after a certain date, then you were fine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because we did not have that, I believe. Because I remember being like 20 when it took effect and being like, oh, I can no longer like buy a lighter anymore. At that time, I had quit cigarettes. I was vaping, but even then, I was like, oh, I can't even buy vapes. I need my brother's ID to like get them online or something.
Right.
No, it was super weird time. I think that's the only thing I've noticed. Like, oh, interesting. So Juuls were a big thing in high school, while Juuls were a big thing for me in college.
Yeah.
We had
for
like
sure.
just had them. Like when I was a senior, my friends and I were getting them, and like that was like brand fucking new.
Yeah.
That was fresh out the box.
For my experience, it was like sophomore year were like tank vapes. Like freshman and like I would
box
probably
mod.
say like 7th through like freshman year of high school, the vibe was like the big box mods. Like,
yeah, those were serious
and
business.
then I would say by sophomore to sophomore to junior year, Juuls dropped, and everybody went fucking crazy because they looked like little USB drives. And no one had ever seen a vape that small.
Yep, nobody knew what the fuck they were looking at.
And they were so discreet, and that's why I think people loved them so much, was because it was like easy to get away with. Like people would hit that shit in class, like literally just like up their sleeve, like
Literally.
teachers going in on like the symbolism of like
No,
Great
if-
Gatsby.
If that was a
Old money versus
thing,
new money.
Yeah, literally. So,
if that was a thing when we were growing up, kids would 100% be doing it.
I mean, at the time, like I remember like some of the more crack-headed friends that I had, we were doing that. You know,
I mean, yeah, no, I
not
mean,
like in the
my
back
friends,
of class, but like after
yeah.
school, we
oh,
would like
1,000%. That's
Yeah.
what you would do. It was like you would leave school and you would go to someone's car or like someone's house. Like for us, we had show choir after school, so like it would be like before rehearsal. We were about to sing our lungs out, and we're like killing our lungs simultaneously.
Yes.
We would literally like you would all pile in like 6 people in one car, just like sitting on laps, passing like one person's vape around because not all of us had them. It was like, or one friend had it, and then like that's what everyone would use.
Did you guys ever have clove cigarettes? Was that ever a phase for you guys?
Literally no. I think
Really?
that was just wherever you went to high school. That was
What,
not
cigarettes?
a thing.
We
Clove
never
cigarettes.
clove cigarettes.
Clove. So they were
Clove.
like, so you know, like cigar tobacco. You don't inhale it. You kind of just mouth it and exhale it.
Right.
Imagine that like in a cigarette, but you have like blueberry flavor or strawberry flavor, and you kind of just like get the flavor on your lips. You inhale some smoke, but don't like get it in your lungs. Just mouth it, then exhale it. My friends and I remember Friday nights we would go to my friend's house. We would just smoke weed and just like have a projector in the backyard, and just like watch movies, just chain smoking those fuckers. I used to have the voice of fucking Fergie, and then I smoked those, and now my voice sounds like this.
No, it sounds like I can confidently say the same.
No,
I do not sound anywhere near like I did when I was in high school. And I mean, given I wasn't like fully grown by that point, I'm still not. Like, my voice is going to continue to change for sure. But like the past 3 years, especially, I just feel like the way I speak and like even the tone of my voice has like changed. Like, I remember the weekend before we went to Outside Lands, I lost my voice completely. And I like half had it back, but I did not get it back fully for like a month.
I remember
But
that.
I was, yeah. Like even on my birthday, remember, like even like the
Yeah.
weekend, like when we were in Vegas, I didn't have my voice.
And you were saying it would take you days because of all the other things for you to get your voice back. I remember
Yes.
seeing you in the office. Not only were you hungover and just like generally dead.
Yeah.
You
it would
couldn't
just
talk.
like, I just couldn't talk. Like that was the only thing wrong with me, was like, I simply couldn't speak. So like by that point, that's when I started like, cause I was smoking a lot by that point too. And like doing it before everything I did. And like, cause like, I don't know, I was doing the most. Like we were going to concerts like every other week by that. I don't know why October through December was so like music heavy for,
was
I
a
feel like all of
lit
us.
ass
Like
I think it's because all the shows were now like able to
yeah,
even
like
play.
that was the kind of the first time they even opened up stuff for like people to go to.
Yeah.
That was one of my first festivals, like back
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
It was so fun.
Oh my god, I wouldn't change that first experience ever.
Outside Lands was crazy. And I think the craziest part is we ran into you.
Not even, yeah.
I know that wasn't intentional.
accident
Yeah,
twice.
it wasn't even intentional. Like at the very beginning of the festival and the very end.
It was
Yes.
I
magical.
didn't see you any other time.
No, but it was
Like,
perfect.
I know.
It was just like delightful every
I know,
time. It was
because
like,
we both. I
God.
mean, we all got to do our own thing, obviously, and like we were with our own groups, and like I just loved the fact that like we were there together for like the very beginning, like just right next to each other, and then like at the very end, like for Tame Impala last
the
night,
best
like
fucking set.
from like Remy Wolf at the first concert of the day, like.
Literally. It was so good.
It was so good. Like that was like one of the most refreshing just experiences of my life, because I was like, oh my god, this is like the good side of life. Like, oh my god, dude, I would not take that experience back for the world.
But on
I'm
that
not even
same
being
fucking
dramatic.
note, have you seen the Outside Lands lineup for this year, bro?
I have.
Give us your take, bestie. Give us your take.
What are you gonna say, Andy?
I feel like personally, like these are all bands that they're not bad.
Yeah.
It's just a weird lineup.
It is.
Considering last year's was so just strong.
I don't even think it's bad.
It's not bad. It's just disappointing.
It's like, to me, it was more like confusing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why are Green Day and SZA headlining?
Yeah, and I feel like
Like-
Phoebe Bridgers is gonna put to sleep all the
Oh my
old
God.
people that are there for Green Day and like
sure.
only Green Day. There's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of people that are just gonna be like purists for Green Day. They're gonna bring
Mm-hmm.
a really weird energy because that fan base has gotten weird lately.
Yeah.
Have you seen their last couple albums have been like weird, but their very last one was the whole theme was like, this isn't your dad's rock and roll. And it's like it's the artwork for like American Idiot with like a unicorn on it. And the whole thing just comes across as like, you guys are dads now. You guys are out of touch. You guys aren't like hard anymore. Embrace that. Don't try to be hard and young and edgy, because like now you're just showing up at these festivals and it's putting a big question mark next to your name.
You can't.
They're not
talk shit
bad.
About Green Day during the 420 cast, bro.
Am I talking? I'm okay. Let me preface by saying I've seen Green Day live. They're great. I was Billy Joe Armstrong for Halloween. Like it was a thing. I was a big fan, and that's why I feel comfortable saying this, because it's like I have a love for them, and it just seems weird.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's a misplaced time for them to be headlining Outside Lands of all places.
It is just a little bit odd. It's just odd.
It is
Because-
odd.
Yeah, the whole lineup is so like alternative heavy. It seems a little
Very,
bit weird that they're
yeah.
one of the headliners. Like not shading. Like I know they're from the Bay. I know they're gonna bring people out, but like, huh?
Wait, they're from the
vibes
Bay?
overall? Yeah, they're like from the Bay Area.
I didn't know that.
They
That
play,
makes
like,
sense.
Berkeley, bro.
I don't know anything about Green Day.
Oh, you gotta learn about
If that
Green
says
Day.
anything about my age.
I know that there's a great video. There's an amazing video online. You can find it. And it's them playing at their like high school or something. I don't know if you ever had like a band play at your school during lunch. It's
Yeah.
really cringy. No one's paying attention. Usually the band isn't the best, but they're playing like, it's a classic. What fucking song is it? Welcome to Paradise or something.
Yeah.
And they sound exactly the same, but there's like no one dancing, no one rocking out. People kind of just like zooming in, making fun of them. And it's so funny how they took that exact same song and became Green Day. They still blew up because like they didn't change it. They were so confident in their sound. And it's just cool seeing like where they are now.
Yeah.
Headlining Outside Lands.
Fucking Outside Lands 2022, baby. Yeah, it is sadly gonna be.
I don't know. I kind of want to look at it again just to like form a.
Let me pull it up.
Because here's the thing. The thing that I loved about Outside Lands being my first festival ever.
That's so fun.
I know. Like, that's a flex, in my opinion.
Period. No, that's a great place
that
to start.
to me, that is the perfect first festival because it's only 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot. Like, for a festival, I mean, like, obviously not compared to, like, Coachella or anything like that, but, like, 3 days is a lot for sure, but, like, it was just... It's the most, I feel like, family-friendly festival you can probably go to.
I feel that.
I'm
It's
looking at
very accessible because it's in the middle of a giant metropolitan area.
Okay, yeah. Looking at it, there are people I would want to see. Like, there's no doubt.
We're appearing at the lineup.
Dominic Fike, Mac DeMarco,
Yeah.
Oliver Tree, Kali Uchis. That would be...
There's people on there I
thrill.
would want to see, but it's
Jack Harlow.
not enough to outweigh the people I'm like, oh, I don't really care.
That's the thing. It's like...
Or like, I've already seen you before 1,000 times.
I don't know. It seems like...
It seems like a hassle. Because these are bands that I would
Yeah.
see if they were in my area for sure. But going out of town for a couple days to see these bands, I know I'm not just paying to see
Oh
them.
my god, 100 X.
though.
We did that for Caroline Rose because Caroline Rose is a god.
Period.
She's not the biggest. She doesn't do festivals like this, so I want to support her.
She's a shit.
I mean, okay, so I don't know if you know her. Caroline Rose, I love this bitch. She's one of my favorite fucking pop stars.
I've heard some of the songs you played.
She's a dream. And I wanted to see her. She did a tour and she hardly ever comes to California. And her only show was in San Francisco. So we thought, yo, let's call it a weekend and just drive up, visit your family for a couple days, see Caroline Rose, have some food out in San Fran, and just come back to LA. The very day that I bought the ticket, she goes, due to popular demand, I'm doing a show in LA. The show is down the street from us, Ricardo.
Literally down the street from us.
Literally down the street.
Stop.
I tried to get tickets, they sold out. So I couldn't even like return my other ones and like get these or anything. So we went to San Fran, and then the day of the actual show, when it's down the street, Sean's friend texts her and goes, hey, I have 2 extra tickets if you want to come back.
What?
And we were
Francisco right now.
we were so
No.
fucking beat and so tired. We were like, no, we just
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted.
Uh.
It was fun though. I had a lot of fun.
let it be said, Caroline, I would have, but I was
Do you
really
regret
tired.
it? Do
Very
you regret
tired.
not
I
going?
regret it only because like it was like her last show of the tour or something. And like,
yeah.
but here's the thing: it's not like I'd be buying a ticket and I don't want to buy merch because the merch is kind of lame. So it's just like she's not getting anything out of it. Anything to support the artist, I would go just to be a voice in the crowd. But I was already fucking tired. I went to her other show. It's okay.
I had
Yeah.
a great time.
I had a great time. She
Some artists,
killed
though,
it.
you know, like, just to see them twice is like...
I mean, I've seen her before and I love her, and like
Yeah.
that's why I'm willing to drive, 800 miles.
Oh,
for this
1,000%.
shit.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
I think she's the only artist I've ever done that for.
Yeah.
Well, being in LA, a lot of my favorite groups eventually will come out here and I'll see them. But it's just weird being like, no, I'm officially a groupie. And we ran into her. Oh my God, I forgot.
Yeah, you said
we
hi to her.
we went to get like drinks and dinner before we went to the show, and we walked right outside the venue. And she's outside. I was like, hey, Caroline, good luck tonight. She was, oh, thanks. And just kind of just walked away.
It was very chill.
I wanted to keep it casual and cool, but I looked
Yeah.
at Sean and was like, I should have gotten a fucking picture.
No, because you played it
God.
very cool. You were like, hi, we're so excited to see you. And she was like, oh, thank you so much. And we were like, oh, have a great night. We'll see you later.
I mean, she seemed like genuinely like, holy fuck, I'm being recognized. Because
Yeah.
she's pretty small, but at the same time, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I still regret not getting a picture.
If only.
Yeah, I would too. Oh my God. If I saw...
Get it. Get it.
If I saw... I feel like anyone on the street, I would probably...
Hi.
Well, we saw Tyler the Creator when we went to go see Jackass.
We
remember?
did.
We did. We did.
We did. And oh my God, Ray and I talk about that quite frequently.
Oh, really?
Ray regrets not asking for a picture probably just as bad as you do with
Aww.
He adores Tyler the Creator.
That's
Like,
incredible.
Ray could not stop talking about it the rest of the night and probably for like a week after. But same.
That's so sweet.
That was the first time I had like a local experience with like a celebrity, you know what I mean?
It felt
like,
very LA, like, oh shit, we're going to the movie theater.
That was like a real LA moment. I feel like every time I've seen someone else, like I saw Abby Lee Miller.
No, you didn't. Where did you see her?
Hollywood Boulevard. It was right after I saw a taping of America's Got Talent.
Incredible.
And we were leaving. And she was just, she was out on the streets.
Doing her thing.
I don't know where she was going, but she was in a rush. And I said her name, and she, like, jerked her head, like, to the side.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, my God, I don't know if she's, like, mad at me. So I got, like, nervous. So I have a picture of it somewhere.
Oh, my God.
But, like, not of me with her, just the back of her head. And I'm like, Abby Lee Miller. And that's all it is. Should be coming up here soon on my Snapchat anniversary.
Oh, my God. No, she should be so lucky. You're incredible.
That was my first, like, the first time I saw, like, a celebrity.
That was your
out
big...
in public. That was the icebreaker.
That was the moment.
Do you think celebrities, like, when they meet other celebrities, they go home and, like, tell their spouse, like, guess who the fuck I ran into?
No, I don't. I really think all of these people are so established within each other that, like, they talk about each other the same way we talk about our coworkers.
You think so?
1,000%.
Tea.
I don't know. I think after watching the Kardashians,
I need to
the
see where
way
this is
they
going.
talk about like I mean, obviously they're like known friends, but like the way they talk about like Paris or like Nicole Richie or her sister. I don't remember her sister's name, the blonde one.
But like the same way how we'd go like, ugh, like.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I guess like that. It's just more of like that's the same way. Like it's like I feel like with celebrities because they all go to the same events. You know what I mean? You go like. I mean, for me, I'm looking at like red carpet events every single day. Like
Yeah, literally.
and you see generally like the same handful of people going to majority of the events. You know, like and depending on what it is, but like. The same faces pretty much pop up quite frequently, so that just leads me to believe like they have to know each other. Like they're around each other all the time. Like I refuse to believe that these people are in environments so many times a year where they're constantly surrounded by each other and just refuse to talk. Like I doubt like they have to interact and mingle, you know? Like
it's just another Friday.
Yeah, like
It's
to
just
them that is
another
like that
Friday.
is their regular life. Like so I don't know. I really don't think they like are. I don't think they get starstruck because they are the stars that are like striking.
Striking? They are
Whoa.
striking? That's so funny. No,
I think someone needs to hit the bong.
Me? I can't
Both of
hit
you.
the bong no more. Please don't
I'm
make me do this.
I'm too high right now.
Too stoned.
Oh my god. Well then I will gladly partake.
Please, yeah, I got too high just that last time.
I am concerned about my cotton mouth though. I feel
know,
like
it's
I can
getting severe.
feel it in my like.
She's getting dry.
Welcome back. We just took a little break and we got a little bit too high. I will never forget the first time I got too high.
Oh yeah.
So at this point, I was maybe 17, 16 years old. And like you guys, like I'd smoked it a couple times and it had no real effect on me. So I just kind of lost a little bit of interest. I was like, oh, this is kind of dumb. And then one day, it was like a Saturday, my friend, I'd had nothing going on. My friend Jason goes, hey, me and Zach just got a brand new bong. Do you want to hit it? I'm like, hell fucking yeah. So we go over to this like little like hidden area in the woods. I got to take you to some time in Calabasas.
I'm here for it.
And we go up there and we smoke. And it was the first time weed had actually like truly disoriented me. Like we were playing music really quietly on a phone, but I was like, it was so clear to me. I kept thinking it was too loud. I can hear every layer of the instruments at once, but also like in conjunction with each other.
Yeah.
We were talking about nothing, but at the same time, everything. I'm looking at the trees in the sky and I'm seeing like new colors and textures in the leaves I've never seen before. I was ridiculously high. And eventually, you know, Cottonmouth kicks in. Bless you. Cottonmouth and Munchies kicks in, and we were like, yo, let's go to Taco Bell down the street. We're like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
As we're driving down, very, very high, listening to music and doing our thing, we passed by a truck with like our local like radio station logo on there. Shout out K-Rock. And
Shout out K-Rock.
Shout out K-Rock. And we loved going to the K-Rock music festivals. We went to all of them whenever we could. So we were like, yo, what if we like went and like became really good friends with these people that work at K-Rock and like, I don't know, got free tickets for like festivals and shit like that.
Ooh.
And we were so high that we were just like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
These guys are in Taco Bell.
Sounds like a decent plan.
Yeah, like these guys are in the Taco Bell. We're in the Taco Bell. It only makes sense, you know, like we can do it. So I go over and like most people, I struggle to order food because when you're high, a fast food menu is the most challenging thing in the world to look at. And I finally put in an order. I forget what I kind of ordered.
So it's a surprise.
It was kind of a surprise, yeah. And eventually I wait, you know, it's like 10, 15 minutes or something. And the lady calls my order out and I see it and I go, oh, that's what I ordered. So I go over to the table and I take the food and I'm eating it high as fuck, having a great time.
Yeah.
And I see one of the guys from K-Rock did not get his food. And eventually the lady calls an order and it's my actual order. We ordered the same thing and I had just finished eating his fucking order.
Oh, no.
So at that point, I kind of just get the food. I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't free food. They didn't make a mistake. This is his fucking food. And as I'm like contemplating, like, fuck, what should I tell him? Do I give him his food? Like, what's going on? I don't know why I was just super paranoid about it.
Yeah.
My friend is just telling me, like, dude, now we're never going to get those tickets. Now they're never going to be our friends. What the fuck? Everything's ruined. I'm like, oh my God, everything's fucked. So as I finally, like, work up the nerve to, like, literally just tell the guy, hey, I think this is your food. They walk out and he's pissed off and disappointed. And they drive away and I see the van just drive off. And that's when I thought to myself, like, I don't want to smoke weed ever again. Then we went to his drug dealer's house and I hit a 6-foot bong and we saw Mad Max. It was really cool.
A quick turnaround to a terrible day.
Yeah, it was dope.
That was a good recovery.
Yeah.
Way to go. Good for you.
Good movie.
Yeah. Good goddamn movie.
I love that.
How about you, Ricardo? Tell me more about your first time that you smoked weed.
The very first time.
The first time you got like high.
You were very high. Very high for the first time.
I mean, the first time I smoked weed, like I said, I was 15. I guess the details of that one are like, it was my friend Colin. Colin with a K. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out, Colin.
Where do you put the K?
The end.
Clink.
Clink. But no, it was very rare that like in high school I was never allowed to sleep over at anyone's house. Probably for this reason. And my mom was in Puerto Rico. She was visiting her dad. And so it was just me and my dad alone at the house. And my dad, growing up and still, is just a lot more relaxed, chill, very like, I don't really care vibe. I mean, he was definitely the more relaxed parent growing up. And so I asked, I was like, hey, can I sleep over at my friend Colin's house? And I didn't have like any intention on smoking at this point. Like, like I was just going over to like hang out with my friend.
It's a sleepover.
Yeah, it was just like a sleepover. And so I went, he dropped me off, and Colin and I are hanging out, and he's like, do you want to smoke weed? And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I've never smoked weed before. I was like, what's it like? And so he was just like telling me about it. He was like, you know, like, don't do this because then you'll like feel scared, whatever. He's like, he was a good first time coach, I should say. Yeah. But it was crazy because his parents were like crazy strict. Like, I'm talking cameras around the house.
Oh my God.
Like at his door, like his bedroom door, there was a camera. Like we didn't even
Ooh.
go upstairs to his house. Like we only stayed downstairs, and like in the kitchen there were cameras, like everywhere. And so we had to be like super discreet. Like even when he like asked me, he like made sure like his dad wasn't around. He made sure like like it was after they went to bed. And I was just like, yeah, I guess, like, I'm down. And he never pressured me. I want to make that clear too, because my parents are always like, you're so easily peer pressured, and I'm like, that was not the case. I wanted to do it.
The DARE program failed, but whatever.
Yeah, the DARE program very much failed. I was curious. The curiosity got to me. But he told me, he was like, if you don't want to, you don't have to. He's like, I'm just going to. So, I was like, okay, well, if you're going to for sure, then like,
go off, King.
I'm going to probably with you.
Yes.
So, went to his basement. There was like a hole in the wall.
Oh, love.
And he like reached down in there, grabbed this like fucking Kroger bag, which was wrapping like another plastic bag and like
Incredible.
2 more plastic bags. And it's just like
Incredible.
this tiny, tiny, like little, just less than a gram of weed. Like 1 bowl's worth of weed.
Oh.
Which is exactly what we smoked. We put all of it into a Powerade Zero bottle.
Which flavor?
We've all been there.
Blueberry?
Blueberry.
Blueberry.
You could taste it every time you inhaled.
Incredible.
And it was like from school. That was like the
Oh
funny
my
thing. It was like, that was like,
God.
because Michelle Obama had everything like the 0 calorie shit, like, and yeah, so it was like literally Powerade blue raspberry. I remember, and we crawled out of his window. There was 1 room that didn't have a camera that could see where we were sitting.
Oh my God.
And there was a window there. So we crawled out the window. We took our shirts off and our hoodies off. Like, it was like 40 degrees outside.
Why? Why were you naked?
Because we didn't want to stink.
Oh
Smart.
He
my
was like, he was
God.
very
Pro move.
adamant. He was like, I don't want to smell. And I was like, no, yeah, I don't either.
I mean, I didn't think about that, but like tea.
Yeah, so we left our like hoodies and shirts like inside. And we
Just
left the
dudes being
house.
guys.
Yeah. Like that was like my first like very like bro-ish moment,
Yeah.
Like, because, I'm gay, so I never really had that experience.
Me and the boys smoking weed on the roof.
Yeah, like that was
bro.
never a thing, yeah. And so, we go out there, he like lights it for me. I didn't know what I was doing, he was just like,
Word.
just breathe in. And I was like, okay, I did. And I was like, I was coughing a bit, whatever. I didn't really I don't think I inhaled a lot. Like, I didn't smoke very much, given there wasn't much to smoke anyway.
Yeah.
And we both shared it, and he took majority. So I probably took like 2 hits total. And I remember I just remember the thought of getting in this window seems a lot more intimidating than getting out of it. And I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to feel something.
I'm having a moment.
And yeah, long story short, I tripped a little bit. I wasn't crazy stoned or anything. I was definitely high. I definitely got high.
No, that's so funny.
But I remember there was a song by Daft Punk. It's called "Doing It Right." If you haven't heard it, it's a
Doing
great
it
song.
right.
Yeah. They're
Copyright.
Yeah, I know. Their audio on YouTube is just a record spinning, and I stared at that for
Aww.
30 solid minutes,
That's
probably.
incredible.
Just mesmerized by the song, and yeah,
You were doing it right.
I was doing it right, I guess.
That's
yeah.
incredible. Oh my God, that's so sweet though. What a nice little story.
Yeah. It
Oh.
was really.
But that was not the first time you were like, holy fucking shit, I'm
No.
high and I need help.
No, the first time I got properly stoned was with, you guys know them, Ray and Kelso.
Aww. Excellent folks.
This
We
is
must
one of
shout
my
out.
yeah, those are my 2 best friends. They're great. This is one of my favorite stories to tell.
Oh, please grace us.
And I had only had 1 more experience like this after this, but so me, Ray, and Kelso would often hang out after school, I don't even remember what the circumstances were for this, But Ray and I went over to Kelso's house and we were all just hanging out. And she's like, "Do you guys want to smoke?" And by this point, we were like doing like dab pens every once in a while. So like weed was a little bit more like integrated. Yeah, like we were like, yeah, we can do this. Like we're cool enough to like smoke weed.
Ew.
Like, and that was the first time I smoked bud since the last story.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it was like that was pretty much the second time I ever smoked like actual bud. And I was like 17, 16. Anyways, so we were at Kelso's and she lives in this like, I don't even know what you would call it, like
Home?
Yeah. Yes, but I'm talking about like kind of like a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
And but it was like off a street randomly. And so behind it was like this park. And so we would have to cross this creek to get to the park. This is all relevant to the story. We would have to cross a creek to get to the other side of the park. And then we would walk on a trail. And she took us to what she called Grandma's womb.
Grandma's womb.
What the heck?
And what Grandma's womb was I don't even know where this name came from. But what it was just like this. They would walk along this trail like in the park, but it would go over like trees, and it was really pretty. Like it looked like you were just following like this creek pretty much.
It looked like a grandmother's womb.
I guess so.
It was beautiful.
But there was one specific part where like it just opened up kind of.
Interesting.
And it was like completely rounded, and there was like plenty of like we would just sit on the rocks.
Aww.
And we just smoked this bowl, and I remember I counted. I took 4 hits. Mm-hmm. But I only did them in like one round. So we like
shit.
So I like did like 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 with my
back
thumb,
to back
yeah.
to back to back.
And thinking I'm like, oh well, like I've smoked weed before, like I can handle this. No, that was not the case.
Oopsie.
I quickly, very very quickly, started to get really high, and I just remember feeling as if like my eyeballs were like in my mouth. And I was like looking out of my mouth. And like I felt like I was like, but not even my eyeballs, like I felt like my genuine, like my person was like sitting inside of my mouth looking out of my body.
Dissociation, but like funky.
But like
Yeah.
but like make it quirky. You know what I mean? Like
I'm like just chilling in my own mouth.
no,
Don't worry
but
about
I
me.
like, and I just remember being like, I've never felt like this before. Like,
how peculiar.
and so like, dude, I could barely stand up.
Oh.
And part of the story gets a little bit controversial.
Oh, go
but
on.
we'll do disclaimers, I guess.
This is a safe space.
Yeah. So we're all like, this was Ray and I's both kind of like our first times too. And like Kelso had already like, she was like the like stoner of the group. So she was the one that like kind of like not introduced it, but like normalized it within like our friend group, I guess. Like made us less fearful of people who did smoke weed, because like, oh, I don't want to get in trouble, like that kind of shit. But no, I stood up for the first time, and I was like, after like smoking, I was like, oh my god, and like my legs were like trembling. Like I remember like I was like, what is going on? Like just so freaked out, but like so pleasant. Like I could not have been any happier to have been doing whatever it was I was doing.
God bless you.
And like that's why I said like that was the game changer of weed for me. Like
you're like, oh shit, I'm stoned.
yeah, like that's when I was like, oh, I want to do that again after I was done. But I remember like describing it like I felt like I was in Candyland. Like I literally felt like I was playing Candyland. There's like that, and that's what I would have said that night too. Like we were walking back after Grandma's room. It was like dark out by this point.
Obviously.
I'm not even kidding you. Like we're just like walking down the street, and this guy is, and I never remember. I think it was a piano. Yeah, it was like a guy's pushing a piano like on like a thing, and he's just rolling it down the street.
Yeah.
And we were all talking, but then he like came into frame, and we all like got quiet. And we were all just like looking down, and I don't even remember who, but someone was just like, does anyone else? And then we all just like were like, yep, yeah, no, like I thought the same. Like none of us were sure if he was like
He's real.
he was real or there.
He's real.
It was just this random dude pushing down a piano. It was so silly.
That's Billy Joel.
Yeah, and we were like, and then he said himself, the guy's like, he was like, yeah, he was like, I am pushing a piano, like, and we were like,
good,
oh,
bro?
haha, we were like trying to keep our cool, like,
Yeah,
we were like, oh, we were,
I'm not very high right now.
yeah, we were
You
like,
didn't
that's
just
so funny,
shake
like,
my grasp on reality a little
no,
bit.
yeah, literally. So we're walking back, and we have to cross this creek again.
Oh, fucking
and that
hell.
same energy of like getting back through this creek seems a lot more intimidating than it was the first time. And I literally, Ray and Kelso both fell into the water,
Oh, no.
making sure that I was dry.
Oh.
Getting across.
That's friendship right there.
They love you.
That was like Ray literally just, I remember he was like holding like the front of me, and Kelso like was behind me like pushing me, and I was like shaking, and he just like his whole foot just like sinks into the water, and I was like, oh fuck, sorry. Like, and he was like, it's fine. And but like, and they'll say too, like if you ask them, they're like, the thing is like we were just so committed to getting him through without getting him wet, like that they didn't even care. It was just like, just make sure he gets like.
It was a mission.
Yeah, like that was like a full on mission. Like that was a crisis for us.
That's
like
incredible.
I thought I was gonna die if I like touched the water. I don't know.
Oh my god.
So we get back and we're at Kelso's house and we're chilling and everything is going well at this point. Like we're having a good time, we're laughing. It's like 8:30, bro, and my dad texts me and he says, time to come home.
No.
And I'm like, we're all talking, I'm like, guys, I was like, my dad just text me. I was like, I have to go home. And Ray's like, no he didn't. It's like, no he didn't. I like show him my phone and he's like, oh shit, because I had to take Ray home too.
Oh,
so
God
if I
damn
left,
it.
Ray had to leave. And so then it was like, it suddenly became like an emergency situation.
Oh, God.
Was Operation Get Home Safely while violently high. and
nobody
this-
can know.
Yeah, like this, I like, if you would have asked me back then, I would have been like, oh my god, I'm taking this to the grave. No one will ever know the story.
Oh, never.
Because I was so ashamed of it too. Of like, oh my god, I don't like smoking and driving. But now, okay, that's another topic for another day. But I had never like driven intoxicated, but I had barely had my license at this point. Like I hadn't even had the point where I was like allowed to drive passengers. Like,
yeah.
So I texted my dad. I was like, okay, I just have to take Ray home. And he's like, okay. So we leave and we're like driving and like Ray got home safely, and on my way back, I remember there was a point where I was talking to Ray and I literally forgot, like I dropped him off. And so then I was like, oh fuck, like I'm really high.
Oh,
like,
no.
this isn't good.
I'm going to go interact with an authority
And I was like,
figure.
I'm about to go talk to my parents. Like,
Let's go do this.
yeah.
Let's do this shit.
And dude, and then after that, I'm like, this is the final home stretch. I'm almost home.
Pass through
I just
it.
have to park my mom's car.
Incredible.
And chances are they're already asleep. So I wasn't even worried about that, like, too much. Because usually when they wanted me to come home, that just meant they were going to bed.
Perfect.
So it was like they didn't want to wait up on me or something like that.
Perfect.
So I knew I was, like, kind of, like, okay. And in that situation, I didn't have to deal with them. But, like, on my way home, I'm at a stoplight, and it's, like, the last light to get to my house. And it's, like, on my street. And 3 cop cars are behind me. And I'm, like, I'm fucked.
It's been real.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess this is why we shouldn't smoke weed, folks.
Bye.
And lights go on. And the light turns green.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, I'm just gonna go. So I pull forward, I'm driving, and the lights are, and they turn on the sirens. And I'm like, at this point, I am petrified.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, I'm about to get arrested.
It's been real.
I'm like, everything I've ever wanted in life is probably about to go down the drain right
Bye.
now. And by the grace of God, They all rush right past me.
Incredible.
And I'm not kidding you. I pulled over still, put the car in park, and just sat there for like 2 minutes and was like, just because my heart was racing. So like I thought especially when you're high, I was like, I'm going to have a heart attack. Like I'm going to pass out. And like I was physically sweating. Like it was bad. Like regardless if I got home safe or not, if my parents saw me, they would have been like, what the fuck is wrong with, like, you look like you just saw a ghost or something. Like it was so bad.
No, mama, I needed to pull over and cry for a second.
Yeah,
Something
literally.
traumatic just
But
happened.
no, I got home. Everything was fine. I went to bed. Woke up the next day. Everything was okay.
Incredible.
Got home in one piece. Got Ray home in one piece.
That's my dude. You survived. You survived your first brace with being too fucking high.
Yeah. What about you guys? What was like the first, the game changer of smoking weed?
I don't know. Mine was kind of shitty.
Really?
Yeah, mine kind of sucked, honestly.
Sorry, the mic is sweaty.
No, it's okay. It's moist. Thank you for prepping it for me. She's, sorry. I had a burp in every episode. It's the least I can do for the fans.
Yeah.
I love my fans. But no, the first time I got like too fucking high, I had like smoked weed for a little bit, like a couple months, and I had never gone like overboard or anything. I was very conservative with my weed usage. So I would get a little silly and then be like, "Oh, I'm good." And I had never smoked a bong. So on this particular day, I had done a bunch of cocaine the night before for the first time. And you know, I was discovering how truly special the coke hangover is. It's it's punishing.
That's not something I've experienced yet, but
bestie,
or not yet. I don't even think I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't know why I said I'm not doing that.
No, it is hand on my heart the biggest waste of time. You feel so terrible the next day. So I woke up and I was like, okay, I feel like piss, shit, and cum all just baking in the sun.
Yeah.
And the guy I was dating at the time was on a set, and as I liked him back in the day, was broke, had no ride. So I said, hey bestie, let me pick you up from set when you're done. So I pull up very hungover, violently ill, and I walk into the set to like pick my dirtbag boyfriend up, and he's in the back like hitting the bong that was just at the house. And I was like, okay, cool, this is college, this is what I'm doing now. Let me hit this bong for the first time. Let me be crazy. So I hit the bong and absolutely nothing happens for like 10 minutes, and we're all sitting in a circle in the backyard by the pool, and I genuinely feel bad about it. This kid is sitting next to me. He's a regular guy, but he's like playing music on his phone. And out of nowhere, the music gets so, like, scary and aggressive and, like, slow and weird. And I was like... Oh, no. I turned to my side and I was like, bro, what the fuck are you playing?
Yeah.
And he's like...
Valid.
Nothing. I'm playing such and such. I'm like, can you turn that the fuck off right now? That's terrifying. I'm so scared right now. He's like, what are you okay? And then everything slowed down. I was no. I got fucking yanked. My wig was snatched, bro. I was violently high in this stranger's house where there was a set going on, and I had to drive my dirtbag boyfriend home. So, I don't know. I took a second on the couch inside, removed myself from the situation, and the guy I was dating was like, hey, bestie, I know you're very ill off of a good coke hangover, and I know you're spiraling right now, but it's time for you to get in a car and drive me home. And I said, okay. And that walk from that house to my shitty Volvo S40 was the most... It took 2 years. It took 2 years to get to my car. And everybody on that block, I felt, was looking at me. I was the most perceived I had ever been in my entire life. It was terrifying. So I took his ass home, which was a 5-minute drive, but took 45 minutes in my mind. It was terrible. Yeah. Took him home, immediately walking through the door, got in his bed and just started sobbing because I was so ashamed of myself.
Same.
I could not handle it. So I just cried and went to sleep.
When
it was
you
too
break
much.
That, like, first, like, when you know you did something bad
I
and
know.
you know you're going to get away with it.
I felt like shit,
Dude, I couldn't like forgive myself
No.
for so long just because I was like, oh my God, I am such a bad person.
Literally.
Like, and then like
could
I
not
kept
handle it.
doing it, I guess.
No, after that I was like, I can't. The emotional burden is too much. I know I drove like maybe 6 city blocks down a straight line, but I just can't
No,
do
yeah,
this.
and it's not even like that's the same. It was like that the drives weren't like complicated or anything.
No.
It was just like the position of like, oh my God, I've never done this before and now I'm being forced to be, because it's like obviously, but who's going to, in all reality, as a 17-year-old boy smoking weed for like one of the first few times, going to call their parents and be like, I cannot drive home?
Yep.
Like, I would have never. I would have.
You know what? I would like, I would like to see with our generation at least. There's gonna be a lot of questions about like being stoners and raising kids and stuff like that in this new age of people just smoking weed more openly, and especially when it gets to a federal level. And I feel like I would like to have that relationship if I have a child, where I can just tell them like, first of all, make sure your homework is done before you fucking start smoking weed and going out and partying and shit like that. And if you do smoke too much weed, it's okay to call me, but we're gonna talk about it, you know? I don't want them to feel like scared or anything to like smoke weed, because it could be traumatizing.
See, but that was the thing. I was scared to smoke weed because it was like, and I grew up Catholic, so like a lot of those like what you would consider like traditional teenager things were like very taboo. So that's why I was like, that's honestly why I would feel so guilty, because it's like, oh my God, like I'm doing something that like I know is frowned upon, like to my parents or something like that, or like and I don't know, like it is interesting though, because obviously like I'm not going to be that way with my kids, and like if I find out they're smoking weed, I'm not gonna like send them to rehab or anything like that, like. But yeah, I agree, there's definitely a discussion to be had, but I also like, I don't know, I don't want to like know when my kids are smoking weed. I don't think
It's not your place.
I don't think I would want to know that. Like I think I would rather just be like, I think I would be comfortable with the fact of like knowing they do it, and like, but not when. Like I wouldn't want to like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like moderate every time they're smoking weed.
No, 1,000%.
I'd rather just tell them like, it's okay if you do it. I'm not gonna punish
sure
you.
I'm in bed.
Make sure I'm in bed. Make sure like, and just make sure you're safe.
Don't make any dumbass choices.
Yeah, just don't do anything stupid. That's really all I can ask from like.
And like most importantly, if something does go wrong, you can call me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's what I want to like reinforce. Like, cause I don't know if I really like. I don't want to say my parents didn't give me that. I just never felt like I could. Like if I were ever put in a situation where if I was like I knew I was drinking or something like that, like I knew I would never be able to like leave the house again after that until I was like whatever. But again, I mean, I wasn't bad in high school or anything like that, so I never really had to worry. But even in the situations, the few times, it's a stressor.
You just gotta be like, okay, how am I gonna handle this?
Yeah.
How is this not a big deal?
Those first times.
You gotta get crafty with that shit. But I know kids are gonna do that shit regardless, so
Yeah.
definitely, I don't know, keep the discussion open.
It's not really avoiding it.
No, truly.
Back in the day, when I worked on Catalina Island, that was my big like real weed awakening.
Yeah.
I was a manager of the kitchen at the camp I was working at, so I got to like schedule people, and I would always schedule me and my buddy Misha to have the same days off, and we would just get a whole bunch of weed and just hike and just smoke weed off in the mountains or something. Always off campgrounds. Just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
And we had this spot called the MLM, MLM. It stood for Mike Lanning Memorial. Mike Lanning was a multi-bazillionaire that donated a bunch to the camp. He is an old creepy man that would give girls money if they smiled at him, and he showed up on a helicopter. He was a very weird man, so we named our smoking spot after him. It was a series of like tents over in the woods. It's the coolest fucking shit. But we also had this one other spot overlooking like a cliff by the rocks and the ocean and everything, and it's breathtaking. And all we do there is get like disrespectfully high. Like no respect to weed at all. We just keep smoking, and just listen to music and watch the sun and just talk for fucking like 5 hours or something.
But that's like the best, like.
And that's why I got like so into it, because I was with nature and with people and like no worries, you know?
Oh, that is such a good, like, I would rather that first experience than my own.
I'll show you pictures. It's quite breathtaking. But I think that helped me build a relationship to weed, because when I came back to home after camp in the mainland, I didn't have that kind of access to weed anymore. There wasn't just a copious amount in a hole that I know I can trust.
Yeah.
So I came back with a newfound respect for weed and nature, and like I think I just appreciated what it could do to me more. You know, I listened to music and being with nature. Like I now started smoking weed outside more often rather than inside with my friends.
I agree, because like, I mean,
It's 420.
it's 420.
Someone hit the fucking bong right now.
Someone grab that thing.
Hit this shit.
Hold on. Not to derail the story, but it is 420 right
It
now.
is, so that.
I was going nowhere.
Please. I'll trade you. Iconic.
Sean, it is your turn.
It's my turn. Get me the goddamn lighter.
Let's get this.
Can you hear the dog snoring in that one?
The dogs.
You can hear a mosquito fart in that one.
Period.
Miss Daphne.
She's the best.
I love her.
Me too. That's my best friend. She looks over me. She watches over me when I go to the bathtub. She likes to sit next to me and make sure I don't drown.
So here's the thing. Daphne and I, we go way back.
Yeah.
Right? Daphne's my familiar.
Okay.
So when I'm not home, or when I'm like in the heat of the moment playing Halo or something, Daphne will go and watch Sean when she's in the bathtub or taking a dump or something. She will stand outside the tub or outside the bathroom just like waiting for her, because she knows I'm busy. Because Daphne and I, we have that connection. I can tell her like, yo, protect her. You know?
She gets that.
She gets it.
She gets you.
Sean's familiar is Hunter.
Oh, yeah. As F.
Who is your familiar?
I don't know. I don't think I have one.
What about Dev?
Aw, I love that boy. I just haven't seen him in so long. I miss my cat. I'm a cat lady. I'm a cat lady living amongst the dogs. One of these days, I'm gonna get a kitty.
I was thinking yesterday, I was like, I swear to God, I thought they had a cat.
I love cats. We will have a cat, just not right now.
I'm more of a cat person personally, but I don't know. Hunter and Daphne are so cat-like in stature and like personality that like they kind of fit the mold for me. In the future, I'd definitely only get cats. I love these guys too much to ever like do this with the dogs. Oh, Daphne's awake. She knows we're talking about her.
Hello.
She's busy sleeping all day.
Busy sleepy baby.
Busy from a decade of sleeping.
I really want a Yorkie.
Oh,
I want to name him Oscar.
Why Oscar?
I don't know. It really resonated with me one day I was at work. I just thought of it and I was like, oh my God, a Yorkie named Oscar would be so fucking funny.
Make it happen. You manifested the Mini Cooper.
I've manifested a lot.
You have.
That's a good
Remember
podcast topic.
Remember that time you manifested a successful podcast and Sean and I getting $1 million?
Yeah,
Each?
it's happening right now.
Manifesting.
This is the
Thank you.
manifestation.
Yeah.
ASMR type beat.
ASMR. Welcome.
Come.
Come.
I have a question.
Question us.
What do you think will be the future of weed?
The future of weed?
Go back in the 70s when this shit was still kind of underground
Just like
and
plastic baggy type shit?
yeah. Do you think they ever knew it would turn into this? Do you think it would be the new gold? What do
No.
you think the future is?
Not at all. I don't think so at all.
So what do you think will hold 40 years from now, 50 years from now?
I'd like to think that it would be completely recreational and medicinally legalized across the world in 40 years. I feel like that's plenty, more than enough time to get that going. Realistically, I really don't think much will change. I think there's kind of like a comfort zone with where weed is at now, where like, I don't know, to be honest, I feel like I'm comfortable with where weed is now, where it's like, I feel like this is like paranoia, but I feel like if it were, like if our government were to go out of their way to start legalizing it everywhere, I would probably be a little bit more concerned than if it were to just... Because at that point, like, I don't know. Weed is not even the same as what it was
40 years ago.
Not even 40 years ago. I would say like 10. Like,
Yeah.
just because now, like in California, there's a legal limit of a certain amount of THC that is allowed to be like distributed, like percentage wise. Like you can't, or like with edibles here, you can't buy anything legally over 100 milligrams at any regular dispensary unless you're going to like some like trap shop in like North Hollywood. Like,
We love those shops.
which we do. That's where I buy my weed. I don't even go to like big name dispensaries because all of that stuff is like limited and very like I don't know, like regulated weed doesn't sound like that's not natural, I guess.
Yeah.
To me, like
No, I mean, there's people online who think if it gets to that extent where it's, government controlled, it'll be like the new milk, where milk was questionable. Are they putting chemicals or hormones in it? And people are going to question how much of it is purely organic weed when it's coming from the government.
exactly. And I think it's like, and that's not even like a me thing. I think that's like a general concern of what people are gonna react, I guess.
It's too much general government overreach.
Yeah, and I think because once it's like too relevant, then that's when people start to like build speculation of just certain things, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope
it's decriminalized.
I hope it's decriminalized for sure. That needed to happen years ago.
I'm okay
Especially
with
for,
there.
like-
I'm okay with there being like certain states that are like hotspots for weed, where it's legal, you can smoke it wherever you want.
Yeah.
I'm also okay with it being federal, legalized at a federal level all across the U.S. But if more states were just like, we're gonna pick it up slowly, I'm okay with that. But I think like a sudden switch to legalize on a federal level, there are benefits to it, but yeah, there also is a lot of a downside to it.
Yeah. I'm under the impression too, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like in California, you can't smoke weed in public, right?
Right.
So, but the only places you can smoke are your property,
Your home or
your home, right? But in situations like, I mean, you and I both, where like I am technically not allowed to smoke weed in my apartment. So it's like, what do you do at that point? Because I've thought about it. It's like, it's weird because it's like, yeah, it's legalized, but like if you're really thinking about it like legally and you're playing it by the rule book, it's like, what are you supposed to do? Because even medicinally, like those were the same rules. Because I had a medical card before I turned 21, and I feel like with a medical card I had more freedom than I do being 21, because with a medical, you are permitted to carry weed, like in a car, like as long as it's in a sealed container, and carry paraphernalia, as long as it's not like freshly used, obviously, and you're not driving under the influence. But with 21, they can like, they can use that as like evidence, or like take the paraphernalia, confiscate it, charge you for it. But I don't know. It's just interesting because it's like, I wonder why, like, it's like you're gonna legalize it, but then you're gonna implement all these like boundaries to where people who live in rented properties or something like that are technically not allowed to smoke weed, period. Like,
I think we are kind of allowed. I think if it's like your own private domicile, you are allowed to.
I agree. Yeah. I mean,
There's a clause in our lease that says we can't smoke weed here.
It's not weed, it's cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
And that's why I'm confident about, like, we could fight it technically and say we cannot smoke cigarettes, and we do not.
I remember reading.
If I hold up a joint, I will say, is there tobacco in this? No.
yeah.
Is it cigarette paper? Cigarette filter? No. It's not a cigarette. Am I right?
I mean, yeah.
Find that copy of our lease.
We're just not allowed to smoke, period, in our place.
That's fucked.
No smoking.
Not even.
At all.
I asked someone, I was like, can I have my vape? Just out of curiosity.
Just curious.
He said no.
Ask
That's-
you
Actually, he
facts.
told me I needed to call the office and ask them, like, our actual, like, rental office or whatever.
That's dumb.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not calling them.
You've been to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Are people able to just like smoke freely there wherever they want to?
I mean, like, it's not completely freely. Like, you can't spark up in someone's business or someone's restaurant if they don't want you to. There's very much like, hey, you can't smoke in these public properties, you can't smoke in these private businesses, but there are designated cafes that sell weed that you can smoke at. You can smoke on the streets, pretty much. I found most people do. It's pretty lax in terms of enforcement. You just kind of got to be mindful about where you're at. It's just that simple.
If I'm walking down the street from work to my house, can I smoke a joint?
I mean, if you're not blowing it in anybody's face and being a dick about it, of course you can.
I mean, I feel like that's the same thing of here. You
Yeah.
know, like, it is normalized to smoke weed in public. Yeah, but, like, I was looking at it from, like, a logical, like,
Yeah.
legal standpoint. Yeah.
Speaking, it's probably not.
Because I feel like it would be the same in the context. It's like, yeah, I mean, I do that. If I'm going on a walk, I'll smoke a joint or something, as long as I'm not bothering anyone. Like, my thing is, like, if someone tells me to, like, put out my joint or something because it's bothering them, I will. Like, I'm
Sure.
not gonna, like, argue with that, you know? I'm gonna be like,
No.
it's my right. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care enough to, like, if it's bothering someone, then yeah, I'm not gonna, like, or if there's, like, kids around or something,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like, I always put it out or, like, keep it low, like,
I
I
try to
don't
be
know.
low key all the time.
yeah, I try and be discreet, usually, like, or just, like, make it a casualty so I'm not, like, making a scene about it, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Not me walking down Beverly with a joint in my fucking hand.
Literally.
Fucking,
Yeah, but that is still casual, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's LA.
yeah.
It's LA, baby.
Chill, baby.
It's LA, baby. Happy 423.
Happy 423. And with that, I think we should
Wrap her up.
call it a wrap. We want to thank
Oh.
our boy Ricardo for
Our
coming
very
today.
first
Thank you,
special
guys.
guest. Thank you so much for coming by today.
I am truly honored that you guys let me
The honor
be the
is
first guest. That
yours.
was so. You guys told me that. I was so much more intimidated. I was like, oh my god.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It was fun. It was a good
king.
time.
Come on back. Come on back now, you hear?
Will do.
Will do. Bet. Any
Thank you.
final thoughts,
Thank
our
you,
good
guys.
our good friend?
No, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Thank you for joining
as
us.
H3 would say.
As H3 would say. No, thank you for joining us, Ricardo, and thank you for anybody listening.
Thank you,
Again,
guys.
I don't know why you're listening, but if you are, leave a comment, like, review, whatever, subscribe, hit the bell, hit
Do
the
all
sub-
that fun
what is
stuff.
what do they do on TikTok? Follow,
Hit the
Oh,
ball.
yeah.
hit the bong, hit the bong, baby. That's it for us.
That's a wrap. There we go.
Bye.
Bye.